Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a good day. Um, yeah, another red day in the market. Not what we like to see, but something we've been anticipating. So at least we're aware of it. Um, what up, Gold Miner and Potts Berry in the chat? What's up, guys? A little late notice for the stream, so we'll see who ends up coming in. We'll still be breaking down everything. Hey, we got Tina Fey in here too. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. We're gonna be going through the normal routine of everything. Go over crypto, and we'll go over some other markets and take a look at the stock market, some of the major indices, and then we will head over to some mega caps. And then there's something specific that I think might help some people be a little more optimistic heading into the new year. I think a little bit of a bounce could be coming. Maybe I'm in the wrong here, and I might be like one of the only ones, but I think there's some variables that we'll talk about. But yeah, hope everybody had a good day outside of the market. That's always important too. And let's get started. Why not? So starting off with Bitcoin, still hasn't really done too much. I talked about this bear flag. Let's see, when was the last time I streamed? Actually, I think it was like a week ago. Yeah, or maybe last Thursday it was. But yeah, the bear flag broke down, and it kind of looks like it's rolling over. So that's definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. If it can retest this candle low here, then lose that, then I think it could be headed towards this 15.7k level, but we'll have to see. The MACD did flip over to red, and there was increased volume today on the move down. It's only down 1% today, which for crypto and Bitcoin is not much at all, as we all know. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. And then I wanted to talk about this on the weekly. I was talking about this 14k level. To me, it seems like it's heading there. There really hasn't been much variables to me that show a reversal is coming, and this is a major support level for Bitcoin. So I feel like not now or like next week probably, but eventually maybe in the new year at some point, I think that level could be tested. But what I want to talk about was the shooting star candle that formed in the beginning of December. Had a bit of a doji candle last week, and now this week, so far, this is a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish divergence is still forming on the weekly, so we'll have to see if this ends up confirming as a bearish engulfing candle, but it's definitely not what we want to see if you're long on Bitcoin. And even just looking at the weekly candle here, it just kind of looks like it's sort of just rolling over. You got this really big flush candle through this 19k-ish support level, and you really haven't gotten that much of a bounce, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Move over to Ethereum. Pretty similar. They always move together, you guys know that. But yeah, same thing. Yesterday it had a bearish engulfing candle on daily. Today it's down almost 2%. And volume definitely is increasing on this sell-off, so that's something to keep in mind. I was thinking maybe it would end up backtesting this demand line, flipping into supply, but it doesn't really look like we're even going to get that. So I'll have to see. This $1,100 level is the next level of big support that I see below it. On the weekly, I think I talked about this in one of the streams, but it's still inside of this bearish pennant in the downtrend. Triangles forming at the bottom of it, and a lot of the times these don't break to the upside. It is possible, but with bearish divergence forming here too, we'll have to see. This candle could be a bearish engulfing candle as well, like Bitcoin, but we'll have to wait. I think the weekly candle for crypto closes on Sunday, so a little bit more time till that confirms. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Okay, definitely keep an eye on this pennant here on Ethereum. Then moving over to some other markets, we will talk about the US 10-year, which when this goes up, it's usually not good for for stocks, in particular tech. We know how these correlate to each other. Usually when one goes up, the other goes down. And we've definitely been seeing that recently. Tech has definitely been the leader to the downside in most recent days. And this bull flag on the 10-year has played out to perfection. Honestly, from like a textbook standpoint, like this is what you want to see. Maybe you want to get a little bit of back test that we talk about a lot, but this has just been continuously pushing higher and higher nonstop since the breakout of it. And I'm pretty sure that Champ talked about it last night, but yeah, this is another higher low on the 10-year. I think the next level of resistance is around 4% from some of these candle highs, so that's what I'll be watching. And yeah, moving over to the dollar. I was talking about this little channel that it's been in. Really hasn't done too much, and maybe into the new year we'll see some more movement with it, but I'm still keeping an eye on it because I think if it does break to the upside, then the market may continue lower. We tend to see that correlation a little bit too, so we'll have to wait and see. I think this 106-ish level right here is the next area of resistance from some of these candle lows. This candle high that was resistance back in earlier in December, and then it was also resistance back in June. So those are some other markets. And then the VIX. Take a look at the VIX. Bullish engulfing candle today. It was up 2.3% almost. Interesting. It seems like it's kind of just consolidating right now. There's some bearish divergence almost confirmed, so we'll see how that ends up playing out. But I think that this high 23s, $24 level is the level to watch. Before this big flush candle, it was support a little bit over here, broke down from that. You can see all these candle highs, and then recently it was resistance here for the VIX and as well on the 22nd of December. So that is the level I would be watching to the upside, and then to the downside, it's bottomed around 19 3 times now. So that's the level I would keep an eye on. And yeah, we can take a look at the weekly. I haven't looked at it in a little while. Hasn't really changed too much. I'm still keeping an eye on this sort of triangle. We've talked about this a few times, how these triangles have kind of formed over a couple of years, and we can see what's happened in the past few times. So yeah, it's a bit speculative, but we'll see what happens with that. I think the major talking point about this is that it looks like it could be trying to bounce off the bottom of this blue zone again in this range that it's been in for just about almost 2 years now. So that's something to keep an eye on. If this can bounce, maybe it sends the market lower. And yeah, let's see what else in chat. We got Clovis Frank. What's going on? And we got Stream Element Spot running. Okay, nice. See, that doesn't happen when Champ streams. I gotta figure out why that comes on. I'll talk to him about it. But alright, so let's move over to the SPY. S&P was down 1.24% today. Lowest candle close since November 9th. And I believe, yeah, this was the day before the big CPI pump that sort of saved the market. Everybody thought everything was falling apart over here. We got that big move up. So yeah, not what you want to see. It kind of has been consolidating above this 380 level for the past few days. And today it definitely broke through that. I kind of thought in the morning when we take a look at lower time frames that it was going to break over the 383 level. That's been shorter term resistance recently, and it was over it for a little while, but as you can see, it rejected it pretty hard on the daily. Rising volume here as well, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think this 374 to 370 area is the next major support, just from some of these highs back over here, a lot of candle highs and some lows from back in the summer. So that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. This 370, 374 support area that I think we could see a bounce from. Then the weekly. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I talked about this shooting star looking candle. Rejected the 410, 411 level. Rejected the upper supply line of this channel that we've been in all year long. Last week we had a bit of a doji candle. It's a week for Christmas. I think we had a day or a day and a half off. Kind of got a doji candle, and this week we definitely got some more downside follow through. So that's something to keep an eye on. On the weekly, I think, which kind of lines up with that support zone I was talking about, this 370 level. It was some highs from back in 2020 in the end of the year, and then back in June it was support a few times, and then it was almost your lows in October. So I think 370 is an important level to watch. But then moving on to today, yeah, we can go down to the 5 minute. So for the past few days, it's kind of just been chopping around in between 380-ish and like mid to lower 383s. And this morning we got a nice bounce up. I personally thought that we would end up breaking it, but we never really got that follow through to the upside. We had a really strong open, which we really haven't seen in quite a while. I feel like a lot of the times at the open recently we kind of just flush out and fall, sell off. But yeah, then moving over to the 15 minutes, a little bit clearer. I think going into tomorrow, I think the two main levels to watch are the lows, the recent lows that we put in on last Thursday, just under 375, and then I think this, like, from this high over here earlier today around 380.25, it was support a few times, flipped in resistance after it broke under it, and continued to sell off, and then made a new low. So I think that's an important level. If we can break back over 380 and get some follow through up towards 381, 382, then maybe we'll re-enter the zone and keep chopping around, and we'll go from there. But if we don't break above that, I don't see much upside potential. There's definitely a lot of resistance that we put in that we're now underneath in the past week or so. So yeah, I think if we can hold on to these lows, could put in somewhat of a double bottom. We'll have to see. I know there's low volume going into the end of the year normally, but yeah, that's kind of how SPY's looking. Moving over to the Qs. Talked about this bear flag. I think Champ mentioned it last night too, but I was talking about how maybe we could hold on to this domain line in this 270 level. We did for that one day, and I think I was streaming that day, and I was talking about how maybe we would get somewhat of a partial rise, and you get something like this, and then you retest the domain line, and then you end up breaking it. But that little bounce that we got, let's see, what day was this? Last Wednesday was just kind of really a fake out. We gapped down the next day, and we lost the domain line, and have just been selling off even more. And we closed right at a pretty important level. This 260 level is pretty much the last support until the yearly lows around 254, 255. So I think if we can't hold this level, then I think that the 255 level could be tested. Zooming out, we have a little bit of support, maybe a little bit higher, around 256, 257, but I think that we got to hold on to these lows here around 255. This was a huge area of demand back in October. I think this was a CPI release or something where the market gapped down, and then we had a crazy rally that day, one of the craziest rallies ever, I believe, from open to close. Rallied about almost 6%. It was up 6% from lows to highs, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, so I think holding on to this 260 level is really important, and if not, 254 definitely could be next. Then on the weekly chart, similar to SPY, but SPY had a more of a doji candle last week. Q's not as much, definitely just continued to sell off. We got even more follow through price action. The open this week was pretty much off by a few cents, but it was pretty much the high of the entire week, and we just fell ever since. Qs are around 2.7% this week, and yeah, it just kind of looks like we're heading to test this 255-ish level. You have this sorry, excuse me. You have this one candle low from back in the end of October, but it's and actually a low from September of 2020, but it really just seems like we're headed to test these levels. So we'll have to see. And then if the 10-year, like we talked about, that bull flag continues to play out, maybe tech keeps selling off. I hope we can form a double bottom. The weekly MACD is very close to flipping over to red, and we can see that every time that's happened this year, it's not been good for the QQQ and really any ticker when a weekly MACD flips to red. And even though we've been selling off recently, the MACD's still been green. So if we end up retesting the year's lows, maybe break them, the MACD goes to red, then we could end up coming lower. And then I think 236 is your next clear support. That was your pre-COVID high. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Then moving over to the Russell, it was down 1.5% today, and I think that it is falling into support here, just from some lows over here. Like this whole zone kind of seems like support from the year's lows. It double bottom, it triple, actually bounced off that level 3 times around 163, and then the high of that zone is around 170. You could see it was support here, resistance kind of chopped around a little bit over here. But back in May, it was very clear support that we bounced off pretty hard. So I think somewhere in this zone we could see a bounce. But if not, and we continue to fall, I was talking about this last time on stream, this sort of weekly head and shoulders like thing. MACD is flipped to red. Looks like this could be the neckline sort of area. And then if we continue to fall through this zone and this 162 level is broken, I feel like this zone could be looked at as the neckline. So I hope that we can hold on to this 163-ish level, and hopefully we can bounce off of it again like we have the past 2 times that we came here. There's definitely a lot of support here from highs from October of 2020, January of 2020, as well as where we're pretty much sitting at now back in August and July of 2018. So this is a big support level for the Russell and small caps, but we will have to see how the overall major SPY and the Qs perform, because normally they lead in direction. So if SPY and Qs continue to sell off, then I think the Russell would as well. They haven't been able to outperform for a long time, and with the way things are looking, I don't really see how that ends up changing anytime soon, but you never know. We'll have to see. And moving over to the ARC, it's just been continuing to sell off. We talk about this level all the time. This $33 level, that was your lows from the COVID crash. It's now below that, and there's not too much support here. If you really zoom in, there's a little bit of support from some of these candle highs around like $29 that I've kind of been looking at, maybe, but if not, you have some around 28. So maybe somewhere in this zone there could be some buyers that end up stepping in. And yeah, let's see what else is going on in chat. Angie, what's up, bro? No, we have not gone over Tesla yet. I will get to that though. What's up, JSOB? Frank the Tank in the chat. What's going on? But yeah, so those are sort of your overall indices. Then I wanted to talk about Apple. We've been talking about this for a little while, but Apple is known as the king of the market. And when Apple sells off, usually other names will follow. And it's kind of been trying to hold everything up for a long time. Champ was talking about this little triangle that broke down recently, and it's just pretty much been selling off nonstop. Somewhere over here, I was talking about how I think that these summer lows could be tested. We did test that, and caught a couple bounces off it, but today we just flushed right through it. Apple's down 3% today. Lowest close since June of 2021, which is pretty crazy. And it's not what you want to see. Next level I have support is around 123 from some of these lows around in June. And if you look over the weekly, it has now clearly broken this demand line, at least the one that I've been watching. I think I might have mentioned how it might have been looking for a back test of it, where we get the breakdown and retest it and then flip it into support, but at the moment it doesn't really look like we're going to be getting that at all. Apple closed at almost at the low of the week, and there was really not many buyers in sight at all. Yeah, well, we'll have to see what happens. I hope that it can get a bounce. 122 is the next support level that I see, and then around 118, and then around 113, 112-ish. But this is happening for Apple. It's usually not a good sign. Spakespunk says, have you seen Cheddar Free's wake off chart on Apple? How does she nail those? Cheddar is a wizard. That is the best way to put it. She is a wizard with the charts, and she knows a lot about wake off, however you say it. I don't really know too much about it. I do enjoy looking at the charts that she shares about it. And then, oh yeah, before I forget, actually, we were talking about this a little bit in the Discord today. Some of the monthly candles that we've, I think, yeah. So these monthly candles close today, and next. Oh wait, no, I don't. I'm sorry. Wow, it's been a long day. All right, sorry guys, but as of right now, the SPY currently has a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly. The Qs currently have a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly. IWM, the Russell, currently has a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly. A long time ago, I was looking at this monthly chart on Apple, and it's definitely broken. This kind of lines up with that weekly demand zone that I was talking about. This big red line area just kind of is a lot clearer on the monthly here, but yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. If those monthly time frame candles play out more, I think we could be headed a lot further down. We'll have to see how the new year brings it. I know a lot of the times New Year's bring a lot of new investors and optimism and stuff, but we'll have to see. And then moving back into some mega caps, sorry, I wanted to just mention those monthly candles. Microsoft, this 238 level was the key to hold, and I mentioned that because it was support in November twice. Those are about the lows, and you held it for a day, you back tested as resistance. Even today, it tried to break over it and just closed with, that looks like a shooting star candle to me, which, I don't know. I gotta do some research on that, because I don't know if you can really call it a shooting star, because it's not at an uptrend, like at the top of an uptrend, but the point is they rejected that level really hard. And this is your lowest close on Microsoft since November 9th. And I think that if you lose these two lows from, let's see, last week around 234, then there's a gap to be filled around 229, so that's something to keep in mind. Then moving over to Nvidia, also mentioned this 151 level that was support over here. This gap is now filled around 142 that actually filled yesterday, and yesterday Nvidia was down 7%, but today it was pretty much flat. It was down like 0.5%. But yeah, big moves on Nvidia, and we talked about this channel. Nvidia's was one of the best performers over the past from October to the beginning of December, basically. Had a crazy run. I think it was up like 60% from the lows to the highs or something. It's definitely now starting to sell off. And yeah, I think this 140 level is very important. You could see some highs over here, and from November. And below that, the next clear level support I see is 126. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. Then AMD was down 1% today, just about. I think I showed this ascending triangle as well, and it has now lost this demand line. It kind of caught a bounce off it, similar to the Qs, how I was talking about that sort of bear flag demand line. It looked like it was catching a bounce off it, and then the next day, gap down, closed underneath it again for the second time, and then it's kind of just been selling off. Doji candle today, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. This gap is definitely filled from November 9th as well. There's some bullish divergence forming on the daily, so maybe fall a little bit more, find some support around 60 or like in the high 50s from some of these candle highs, and maybe get a bounce there. MACD flips back to green, the divergence confirms. As long as you hold above 55, I think AMD could see some higher prices, but it's a long ways away, and we're gonna need some more data for that. What's up, the guy in chat? Yo, Vibe Man went Santa. I'll get to that. I got something up my sleeve. Well, not my sleeve, I should say. It's the comp op sleeve, which is you. So it's up your sleeve. Let's see. Stocks all over the place looking nasty. Good for any of the younger group for long-term opportunities. So I completely agree. Looks like Black Crows on the week. Was that after your Apple comment? Let's see. Yeah, I would agree with that. 3 pretty big red body candles, 3 in a row. Yeah, doesn't look like Santa's coming this year. Yeah, I mean Christmas is over, but we'll see. We'll get there. Give me time. Okay, so that was AMD, then Tesla. It was green today. It was up 3.5% today, almost 3.3%. But yeah, I think this bounce was due. Extremely high volume. I did not actually notice that. Today was the highest volume on Tesla. Let's see. Since all the way back in March of 2021. It's something to keep an eye on for sure. Definitely a lot of buyers stepped up today. I think a lot of the move happened in pre-market, but it held its gains. And with Qs down over 1% today, same thing with SPY. It's a good day. Definitely needed it after, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red days in a row, which is pretty insane. Yeah, and then looking at the 4-hour, I don't know, it kind of looks like it's in this channel, and this channel started all the way back, let's see, in September, when it was up at $315. That is just crazy. But yeah, it's got like 3 touches off this demand line, so now it's maybe trying to make a 4th one. Thought it was just kind of interesting to know there's a little bit of a gap to fill around 123. If you zoom in even more, yeah, around high 122s, 123s. So I thought that was interesting. Just bring that up. I know a lot of people have been looking around and asking about Tesla. It's just been bleeding off like crazy, but I know it's oversold on a lot of higher time frames, and yeah, maybe bounces is coming. But so the main thing I wanted to talk about tonight, besides all the selling, is even though the SPY has been falling and the Qs have been falling quite a lot, I think that a short-term bounce could be coming. You can call me crazy, but I am seeing these 1-hour wedges forming across the board. And maybe not tomorrow, but I think coming up soon, in the next few days, maybe in the next week, into the new year, some of these wedges could play out. So this is on SPY. This wedge has been forming since the double top at 410. And today I kind of shared in the main chat, I was looking to see if this area over here could hold as somewhat of inverse head and shoulders, and then we could test the supply line and maybe get a breakout. but that clearly didn't happen and it continued to sell off. So the main thing I'll be looking for tomorrow is, can we hold above the lows of this sell-off, which is 374.77. If we can do that, then I think there's a good chance that we could get a breakout. If we can't do that and we do make new lows, there's potential for like more classic bullish divergence to form if this price falls lower and the MACD just stays like, if it doesn't get more red than the previous island. So that would be triple classic bullish divergence in this wedge that's been forming since, let's see, the 13th, so like a week and a half ago. Thought that was interesting. And then there's also 3 gaps to fill the upside, one around 385.25, one around 388, and then another one way up here around 396. But yeah, thought that was interesting. Same thing on Qs. And with this yearly support, like I was talking about, we closed right at this 260 level, then we have 255 below. So maybe we keep selling off a little bit, but then get someone to a bounce. There is triple classic bullish divergence forming here too. Let me take a look at the RSI. Yeah, the 1 hour RSI is at 29. 4 hours at 30. So we are getting oversold on some of the hourly time frames, which kind of gives some more variables towards a bounce. This has really just been getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and now we're getting close to the apex. So we'll see. There's a gap around 273 to the upside, and yeah, let's see. Also on Apple, this is more of just a channel, but I thought it was interesting. Microsoft, same thing. Got a 1 hour wedge forming. Nvidia, same thing. Pretty large 1 hour wedge, and I know the lump is going to yell at me because there's a lot of white space in here, but I got 3 touches on the demand line, so we'll have to see. There is a gap to fill around 165, so maybe there'll be a short-term bounce before we continue to sell off into the next year, and maybe these wedges play out, some of this divergence plays out like on the SPY and on the Qs, and with the new year there's some new optimism like I was talking about. Maybe some buyers step in and maybe some shorts close out some positions to rebalance their portfolios and whatnot. But yeah, when a lot of these, we talk about this a lot, when you see all of these patterns starting to form like throughout the market, it's definitely something to note. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Like, we literally could just continue to fall off the next few days or next weeks or whatever. But I thought I should bring that up because I know there's been a lot of selling and a lot of negativity and a lot of downside, and bears have been having their fun, but maybe I'm thinking we get a short-term bounce sometime in the near future before heading lower. Yeah, Gold Miner says, I heard about only 9% of the time when the SPY is down does it have a second consecutive year of being down. Still think we have a bottom in March and rally pretty hard from there. Interesting. So you think that we break the year's lows on SPY and bottom sometime in March? Or do you think that we hold? I guess you're saying if we'll bottom in March, then we'll break the year's lows. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. That's pretty interesting though, that only 9% of the time when SPY is down in a year, it has a second consecutive year of being down. That's a pretty low percentage. And actually, now that you say that, talking about the year, take a look at this. This is just wild. This is the 12-month candle on the S&P 500. This is a crazy tweezer top. And if you go to look at Qs, massive bearish engulfing candle, which is pretty wild. Lining up with the monthly bearish engulfing candles we've been talking about, lining up with rejection of the upper trend lines that we've been talking about. 300 to 320, I think that makes a lot of sense. I really do. At least for SPY, there's definitely going to be support, and could be a bounce around 340, high 330s, just from the pre-COVID highs. And that, yeah, I have 320 and then, yeah, 300. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. March market Greeks and options have been very bearish. Interesting. Yeah, I don't look too much at options flow. Kind of just watch the price action and keep an eye on the charts. Well, maybe I should. Sometimes hard to read though. I don't know if some big institution or whale or whatever is hedging their position. You know, sometimes you can't really see or be able to tell clearly what somebody's doing off that. Throw some fibs on the early charts. Let's see. Yeah, the thing. I mean, yeah, we can. Wow, the S&P was all the way down at $42. That's crazy. All right, let's just take it from. Let's see, what year is this? This is from the 08 crash. Okay. $320s. 275 is a 0.5. That's so crazy. It's just like, it's a yearly chart, so it's hard to maybe better on the monthly. This is from 08. Maybe something like that would be a bit better to look at. Yeah, 320s, 275. I mean, it makes sense. Especially with this bearish engulfing candle. I think that 320s is a very realistic outlook to have on the SPY. I know that nobody wants to see that happen, but data's all here. Candles are just candles. Yeah, if anybody has any ticker requests or any thoughts, any comments, drop them. You can take a look. It's not financial advice. Join the Discord. Links in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subs would be very cool. My bearish eyes get too big when I see those charts, lol. Yeah. It's crazy. It really is. Like even earlier in the year, like yeah, people were talking about how this like the bear market is starting and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like nobody ever knows the extent of what's gonna happen until it does happen. Let's see, XLE, US, ARLP. Okay, and I think you're just saying hype, and hype is not a ticker, but do let me know. Okay, let's go over to the daily. XLE. Man, these two rising wedges fit out really well. Okay, let's see. So definitely some big support around $83 from these most recent lows, and then yeah, this blue zone, it dates back a long time. I know Chance talks about that a lot. Bearish divergence is forming, which is interesting. Maybe a bit of like a rising wedge on lower time frames. Volume is dropping though, and you know what? Maybe, just maybe it's some sort of channel or some sort of bull flag or something like that. Yeah, I think $83, $82 is low watch their downside, and then this major resistance zone from like $93 could probably even bring this even lower. Here, just redraw it. Yeah, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Just from some of these, like this candle low, some of these candle lows, gap down from this candle low. Let's see, QS. Well, This big triangle broke out to the downside. Let's see. So I do already have some levels here. Say your next resistance is maybe around 674 from some of these candle lows, maybe like 660 to 674. You are oversold on the RSI. Maybe there's a big wedge forming here. Kind of looks like a channel, to be honest. Yeah, maybe a bit of a wedge. But like we talk about a lot of times, no, these wedges in bear markets, they tend to underperform. So I would also keep that in mind. But yeah, 674 is definitely a level you'd like to see reclaimed, especially if this can break out. You need a lot more time for that to happen, but if it can break out, I think reclaiming these lows would be really, really important to see. Then ARLP. Resource partners, interesting. Wow. Well, right away, this just looks like okay, that's not a trend line, that was a triangle. Maybe something like this. I mean, you got a reaction off it today. Let's say you need more data, but if this low can hold and you can start curling up, I would look at this as a valid demand line, just because then you have 1, 2, and then 3 touches off of it, and then yeah, maybe it's somewhat of a bull flag. Let me look at on the weekly, give it some more levels. This chart's been around for a while. Maybe like 26, some resistance, and some bigger support around 16. You can see the support back, 6. Resistance over here in 2016, and support again, and I reclaimed it and flipped it into support back in June of this year. Yeah, MACD did flip to red today. Wow, there was really, really high volume today. I mean, it was the lowest close in quite a while since back in July, but there was very, very high volume, so people definitely stepped in and bought. Gap down, it was down 4.5% today. I don't know too much about the name itself, but no, just type in the chat. Yeah, that's what I thought. What's up, Cruelism? Sorry if I just butchered your name, but what's good, bro? Yeah, no problem, Space Punk. So I think that'll be it. And I'm pretty sure that champ will be back tomorrow. Get some stuff to take care of tonight. But yeah, I'm happy you guys came out. Thank you for showing up. People that put the time in, put the work in. It'll be worth it. Promise. Just gotta keep going. Don't quit. And yeah, check out the links in the description. Hit the like button. This Sunday will be the first stream that I do on Sundays, but starting this Sunday, I'll be live every Sunday. I was planning for 8 o'clock, but maybe I'll do it a bit earlier. Maybe I'll throw out a poll in the Discord or something. But yeah, I'll be live on Sunday just to see how the market closed for the week and looking into next week, and then also into New Year's. Oh, New Year's. God, the guy, why you always gotta be a downer, bro? You're right, okay. I'm probably not gonna be streaming on New Year's. Maybe the following week, the 8th. I think that's... Well, thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize. Yeah, I'll send like an announcement out about it. So probably not streaming next weekend, but... Big L. Yeah, whatever. Market closed on Monday. Okay, maybe, yeah, I could do it Monday. What up, AK in the chat? Yeah, market's closed Monday. That sounds good to me. Yeah, everybody have a good day tomorrow. Trade safe. It's gonna be low volume. And yeah, peace out, everybody. Have a good night. Catch y'all on the Discord.